Welcome. Today is Steadicam Day at Pump Jack Daddy Studios, and this is my version of that. The Merlins and all that, they're expensive, and I thought I'd take a shot at it. This is what I came up with, and I've got a Canon HF S10 on there. Works out good for me. And this whole thing has worked out good also. So it's I'll show you what I did. I started out with some steel electrical conduit, and I just bent it around with a tubing bender, and then cut it off at an angle so this would look like this basically. And I took a piece of steel, drilled some holes in it down the center, and then some offset holes to compensate for the weight of the view screen here. And I also drilled holes in this because it's steel and most everything's made out of aluminum or PVC, and it lightened it up a bit. And then I have a conduit hanger right here with the front weight on it, which is, it's handy. It's a fine adjustment for the balance. And then down here I took two pieces of steel, drilled holes in them, and then I welded a 5/16 nut on this end, 5/16 nut here, and put a 5/16 bolt, of course, in there. And then I took fender washers, glued them together, and I just labeled them so I have, I know what's what when I go set up, because sometimes I don't want to have this wide angle lens adapter on there, just a hood with maybe a polarizing filter. So, and this is a little compensation weight that it's just easy to change this one, easier than this. So that's how that worked. And then I went to Walmart, Wally World, found a little tripod, stole the tripod head off it, and it worked out great because it had a little a bolt mount on it, and it works out good for a couple different reasons. One, you can change the angle of the camera, because there are times when, like me, I do motorcycles and I like to have it looking down, and to do that, if you just pitch this up just a shade of a degree, see, it'll go down, or you can pull it back up, and now it's straight out. So it does work out good, and I did spend a lot of time trying to get the balance right. It's not that easy. And then there's the gimbal. Basically, I just constructed a U-joint out of PVC and skateboard bearings. I took a Schedule 40 cross junction, and I trimmed it down a little bit so the bearings, once they hit the stop, would be flush with the outside. And I practiced with another piece here, a T, and I put them in the toaster oven. I put the T in the toaster oven, or the cross, and it got pliable, you know, and it was a little bit of a tussle to get them in there because it stretches them out. And then when they cool off, they tighten up around it, so they're in there nice and solid. And it seemed to work out really well. Got that trick online, YouTube, as a matter of fact. And I took some aluminum and bent it around, drilled some holes in it, and made a yoke for the top with a 1/4-inch bolt that goes through the center holes. And I could put the camera right on top of that, but this seems to work out better. And on the bottom, I made another yoke here, and for the spin part here, it's hot in here. It's 106 degrees outside. I had to turn the cooler off behind me. It would make too much noise. You wouldn't be able to hear me. Anyway, I'll show you what I'm doing here on the swivel part of it. There we go. It's coming apart. 8mm bolt right here. Oh, before I forget, when you put this together, put the bearings into this piece of PVC, what I did was, of course, there are 8mm bolts, and I put a nut with some Loctite on them before I stuck them in, because if you don't, well, then there's no way you can make this work. Okay, that said, I took a union and cut it down and put skateboard bearing on each end. So they're opposing. And that just happens to fit in a piece of Schedule 20, 1-inch PVC pipe. And I glued it in, and that's what we have. Fits right on here, and it's nice and soft. It's not tippy. And then I took a piece of conduit, and I brazed in an 8mm nut. And it goes up through here, and tightens up. And if you don't tighten it all the way up, there we go, then it just spins freely. But if you do tighten it up, not real tight even, you can, it has some directional ability here. So anyway, for out in the wind and stuff, because it will blow you sideways sometimes. But you know, the warning here is having this semi solid. It does introduce some torque into the system, so you have to keep your wrist pretty straight on that kind of shenanigans. So what else can I tell you about this? I marked on this conduit where these weights go for each setup, and this conduit bender worked out really well, because when I put it in the tubing bender, sideways, tightens up, just because it deformed it a little bit, made it a little bit oval shaped. So also, you know, you get it like this or like this, and it's easy to adjust that by moving this the camera sideways one way or another, because the weight of the battery over this center line here will straighten out the balance, and it's a quick adjustment. So let's see, that's it. I'm going to go do some video. Some of this video I did before I had the balance thing figured out, and trying to balance the rotational inertia, maybe that's what it is, I'm not sure. Because if it's not balanced properly, you take off or you stop, and it will do this, or if you go around a corner. And the closer it is to being balanced, like the more sensitive it is, the more stable it is. And it's a little more susceptible to the wind also, but I did take some video in the windy stuff, and you know, there's a little movement, a little pendulum action, but not a whole lot. But I got it in better balance after that. And then the other thing that I did, because I was tired of laying this thing down all the time, and it's hard to work on, don't want to damage the camera, so I took some PVC tubing and some spray paint and a few connectors, $10 worth, and made a little stand for it, and you can work on it. I had to work on it. And you can also, if you know, you can view your video clips in the field or at home. So that's it. Here come the videos, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope this does somebody some good. Alrighty. Y'all have a good day.